everybody, this is going to be my first watercolor speed paint and I'm kind of nervous. This is a study I did in my painting class for this piece. Let's get close up here. I wanted to do this, I did this study because I wasn't really sure if I was going to be comfortable with watercolors. I mean, I like watercolors, don't get me wrong, but I haven't had much practice with doing like coloring in the lines kind of watercolor, so I was pretty much just freehanding this. I don't know. This is just a practice run, I guess. And I actually really like how this turned out. Like, if I had a store, I'd probably sell this as an original. So it turned out pretty much exactly how I wanted. The colors aren't blending as well on the camera, especially in the sky. This actually looks a lot more blended and grayer. So does this. This doesn't look as bright. So, I don't know, I'll have to like mess with the settings or something to try and make that look alright. But, yeah, this actually pretty much turned out exactly how I want my background to look. Let's see if I can actually get it to look how I want. That'll be a challenge in itself. So, yeah, that's pretty much my only disclaimer. I don't know, I haven't worked that much with watercolors besides like abstracts and nothing that's really in the lines, I guess. So I'm a little nervous for this, I'm not gonna lie. I'm hopefully going to make this a series. Well, I guess I could show you the piece, you're gonna see it anyway. So this is the piece. It's Aries. It's my rendition of Aries. And I hope to make one for each Zodiac. Aries started on March 21st, I think, and throughout the video, or the speed paint, I will explain my reasons why I chose certain things in this picture. So, you can probably bet to see more Zodiac pieces. Hopefully. I usually say I'm gonna do this awesome series, and then I end up never going with it, except for my Twisty Tree one. My Twisty Tree series is about the only series I've really kept with, so hopefully. I mean, I'm not gonna do them right in a row like most people do. I think I'm actually gonna wait for like the time it's supposed to happen. Like, I originally wanted this to go up on the 21st of March, but it ended up not doing that because it was just, timing wasn't right and I didn't have time to color it and stuff, and I hadn't done this yet, so I did that on that Tuesday. So yeah, so I guess I'll just quit blabbering and get started and tell you a little more about the piece. I used Aquaflow water brush pens in this piece. I got them at Hobby Lobby for $5.99. I'm also using Watercolor, which are Van Gogh watercolors that came in, I think, a 12 set. And as a reference, I used this Fantasy Dreamscapes watercolor book just for reference because I'm not the best at watercolor yet. So, hello everybody. This is my rendition and hopefully the start of a pretty cool series. I've always wanted to get better at watercolor and my classes just never did a lot of it. So this is just my way of sort of practicing that skill and getting to know watercolor a little better, and I do feel a lot more confident after doing this piece with working with watercolor, and I cannot wait to do more, especially with the Zodiac series that I'm starting. I honestly don't even know what the next Zodiac is. Is it Taurus? Something like that? I don't know. I have no idea. I know I'm Aquarius, and Austin is actually an Aries, so hopefully whenever he watches this, he'll be like, yay, she thought of me. Anyway. Sorry about the weird feed looking thing that's going on. I don't know. I haven't worked out the kinks with this camera yet. I thought I had it all figured out, but I guess not. So it's a little distracting. But It goes away eventually, I promise. So, I guess talking a little bit more about the piece, you already got kind of like the rundown in the beginning. This piece is pretty much, I looked up a bunch of stuff about Aries and like its background and history, and I kind of tried to put them all together. The big circle in the sky is eventually going to be Mars, and I chose Mars because that's the planet that Aries is associated with. And Mars is the god of war. So because of the whole war status thing, I put the woman in a sort of, I know it's totally, I looked up like female gladiator or something like that, or female warrior, and it came up with like all these like cheesy Halloween costumes, okay? I'm not even gonna lie. I got this idea from like 3 different costumes I looked up on Google. So it's not the most protective in battle, but it's pretty, and I really liked it, and I just kind of smushed 3 of them together. So I tried to make her look sort of gladiator-ish. So yeah. So we got the Mars, we got the god of war-ish thing. The red flowers are pretty much just to reflect the red of Mars. That's pretty much, and it's springtime. So I figured, have them sitting in a meadow of some sorts, with green and flowers to sort of, say, yay, spring. I think, is it the spring equinox? I have no idea. I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm probably wrong. I'm always wrong with those kinds of things. And then the ram, because that's the Zodiac symbol, I think. I mean, I don't know what to call it. It's the animal it's associated with, I guess. That's pretty much all I got for you, is it's associated with the ram. And I added the mountains because rams, or Rocky Mountain goats, or whatever you want to call them, live in the mountains. Austin, I actually saw those in Colorado. They're actually pretty freaky looking. So, I didn't see that kind of ram, but they were still pretty beat up looking. So, yeah, you get my point. You see where everything comes from now. Okay. I experimented a lot with this piece. I didn't really know the best ways to blend, and I didn't really know a lot in general about watercolor. I mean, I knew enough to use it, but I didn't know enough to be an expert at it. Like, I look at artists like Sophia Liu and like all these other people who are using like watercolors and gouache and stuff, and I'm over here like, I can barely get Copics to work. Well, that's not true. I feel like I'm pretty good at Copics. It's just watercolors. They have never been my strong suit and probably never will be. And this was just me practicing pretty much. This whole series is pretty much just going to be me practicing watercolor and getting used to it. So hopefully I can make watercolors in the future for this channel that won't look so derpy. Honestly, the mountains turned out a lot better in my version, in my opinion, than it did in the study I did. I was actually pretty proud of myself. I totally forgot I had white watercolor, so I used that to sort of get highlights and stuff with it, and I'm so glad I used it because they turned out so much softer and so much prettier than I originally thought they were going to look, and that just makes me happy. Sorry if the zooming in and zooming out of the different clips freaks you out or something, because I just thought, it would get sort of boring to be at this stage. So I figured, zooming in and out just so you guys can see what my space around me looks like would be like this would be a cool sort of thing to do. But, if that freaks you out, just let me know in the comments and I'll stop doing it. But I always like seeing what's around the artist. I actually watched 4 movies during this entire coloring process. I watched the Lego movie, I watched Sinbad, the Lorax, and How to Train Your Dragon 2. So 4 animated movies was the amount of time it took to color all this. I was actually kind of nervous to use my Copics with this paper because the last time I did it, it tore my Copics up so bad. I had to buy all new Copics. I was a little more cautious this time, so it didn't mess up my nibs as bad, but yeah, it just... I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I really like how she turned out in general. I kind of wish I didn't put outlines on it later, just because it looked all painted and it kind of went with the background more, but oh well. It's so weird going from like a smooth paper to such a textured paper like watercolor paper for, you know, working with Copics, because I've never really used Copics that much with watercolor paper, so that was going in blind pretty much with this, and I don't know, I'm still working on it. I kind of wish I left her hair like that too. I wish I wouldn't have outlined it, because I ended up putting black lines through her hair too, and I don't know, I just feel like it ruined it, but you know, like I say in other videos, it's the artist is their own worst critic, so, you know, let me know if you like it. I personally wish I would have left it how it is right now, so, oh well, live and learn. I thought the ram turned out so good. I was so proud of myself. I'm not the best at drawing animals, but I was actually pretty proud with myself when it came to that. And I also just used a micron for this because I didn't want to use one of my nice Copic multiliners. So I just grabbed a micron I had bought recently because I knew I wanted to do watercolors and stuff like this, and I didn't want to use my Copic multiliner. So yeah, it worked out really nice. Once I got the hang of how the tooth of the paper felt underneath the pen, it was pretty nice. I started out with the horn, and I kind of wish I would have started out with something else because I wasn't used to how the tooth of the paper felt, and I like totally just cut through it, so the top of her horn looks kind of flat, but whatever. I think it looks fairly nice for not being very, you know, good at watercolor or anything, so if you guys are totally pumped for this Zodiac series, let me know, and I will catch you guys next week.